welcome in. Please do take a seat and make yourself comfortable. I want this interview to be as relaxed and informal as possible, because that's how I like to roll. Speaking of which, I thought this coat would be a good idea, but I'm realizing now that it might be a bit much. So, give me just a moment. That's better. Well, my new, hopefully, friend, it is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Becca, and who are you? Well, I hope that you found my home all right. I know I was a bit vague in the newspaper ad that I put out for this job listing, but, well, sometimes it's better that way. But that's right, I posted an ad looking for an assistant, but not just an assistant, something more than an assistant. Of course, I would expect you to do very similar things to what an assistant would do, but I would require access to you 24/7. I know. It's a big ask, and I know that this job isn't for everyone, and that has been proven over and over again. I have had many try to fill this role, and, well, hasn't worked out. But I'm hoping that if I'm patient and, I've got all the time in the world, and we'll get to that I will find the right person for this job. Tell me, am I looking at the right person for this job? I don't like to have my time wasted. And please understand again, I do have so much time, but still, I am picky. I don't like to fool around, so to speak. I like to get right down to business, so we shall do just that. What's this? Oh, a resume. Look at you. Very professional. So your education, prior work experience, you've not quite done something like this before, have you? And that's okay. I will be honest with you. I don't care about resumes. Quite frankly, I don't even care what you've done in the past. I just care about what you can do for me. And I know I haven't given too much detail on this job exactly, except that it would require most of your time to be given to me, but I really would like to get to know you. I mean, if you'd be working for me, we'd be spending a lot of time together, and I just want to make sure that you're not the wrong sort. And it's very complicated. And we will, again, get into that. All will be revealed. And if I feel at the end of this that it's not going to work or be a good fit, well, it won't really matter. But nonetheless, let's begin the interview. All right. Let me grab my notebook here. So, tell me. I know you showed me your resume, but what skills do you think you possess that would really fit the role? Loud car, ignore that. Fit the role of an assistant. What could you bring to the table? That's great, that's spectacular. And a few maybe odd questions. Would you be able to work all through the night if necessary? And I know there's some jobs out there that have night shifts and whatnot, so I guess that's not so unusual, but would you be able to? Perfect. And how comfortable are you around the sight of blood? I know that's an odd question, but in not so long from now, a short bit, it'll make sense why I asked that. Okay. And tell me about your morals and values and how, tightly wound you are to them. You know, are you kind of loosey-goosey when it comes to your values, or are you willing to perhaps welcome a new perspective? All right. And what are your opinions on werewolves? Yes, the mythical creature werewolf. All right. No, I don't care for them at all. Thank you. That's fine. I'm gonna tell you something, because I don't think we can conduct the rest of this interview without you understanding the full picture. Okay. What I'm about to tell you might come as a shock, perhaps not. Just gotta come right out and say it. I vampire. Oh, that felt good. That felt good saying that out loud. You have no idea what it's like having to go day to day hiding who you are. It eats you up inside. I only get to divulge that information with so few, and so many don't last very long. But it feels good when I get the opportunity to share that. But what's odd is your reaction, actually. You don't seem so surprised. Why is that? Well, yes, I know my house does look like somewhere a vampire might reside, and yes, you can probably tell I do have fangs, but still I'm surprised you're taking this news rather well. That's a good thing. See, a good assistant to a vampire, which is actually called a familiar, so might as well start using the correct terminology, should not be afraid of their master. Well, maybe a healthy amount, but no. Generally, familiars, well, in fact, they like vampires, most of which actually become familiars in order to, at some point, become a vampire themselves, which I guess I get, but I don't make any kind of promises like that. That doesn't seem fair. No, I want someone to do this job solely because they want to do this job, not for any potential personal gain, if you can call becoming a vampire that, down the road. Are you doubting that I am actually a true vampire? I just said I had fangs. Can't you see? My house. Well, I don't know what you expect me to do to prove to you that I am a vampire, but questions like that, doubt, well, I don't tolerate that very well. And I don't think that you want to make me angry during this interview. That would not bode well for you. But because I do like you so far, up to this insubordinates, we'll call it. Fine, I'll prove to you that I am, in fact, a real vampire. Just close your eyes or not. Relax, 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 relax. Will that be sufficient evidence for you? Good. Well, now that we've got that sorted out. You know I'm a vampire. You know that this job is in fact actually to be a familiar to a vampire. We can conduct the real interview. So, as a familiar, you'd be expected to maintain my home, clean it, keep it organized, because goodness knows I'm not going to. It's not my job. You will also be responsible for assisting me in, well, getting my food, so to speak. There's a lot of things I personally do to do that. A lot of random jobs and other sorts of things I dabble in order to, well, get people. But sometimes that's not quite enough. And it would be your responsibility to assist in getting, well, appropriate sustenance for me. Bringing people to me, I guess you could say. Are you comfortable with that? Good. That's good. It's probably the hardest part about all this. And there's an element of danger, obviously, being a familiar, unless you do something wildly against my rules. I'm not going to hurt you, no, but there are other vampires, and I asked you earlier about werewolves, which are kind of sworn enemies to vampires, but there also exists other creatures in this world that humans have no idea actually exist. And by working for me, well, it's gonna put a big red target on your back. It's dangerous. Do you think you can handle that danger, that pressure? So you're fearless, are you? That's good to a certain extent, but a little fear is good. Do you know why? Not just humans, any living thing fears, has fear. It's to keep them safe, to keep them protected. It helps a living thing to survive, because without fear, you'd enter any dangerous situation without contemplating the risks or what could happen, and you would inevitably, most likely, get hurt. Where fear allows you to weigh what might happen and the risks, and helps you to think ahead, what can I do to prevent said risks? So being totally fearless isn't actually a good thing. Having the right amount of fear is a great thing. And that in itself is a skill. People are either too fearful or are too fearless. And both suffer because of it. Be somewhere in between, and you'll be just fine. Also, being my familiar is a 24/7 job. You would have to leave your old life and leave it behind. People you know, they can't know what you really do. And in all honesty, you'll probably not have much time to see others because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Would you be comfortable with this? This job would become your life. Are you okay with that? Before we continue, do you have any questions for me? How long have I been a vampire? We'll just say a very, very long time. I'm not going to tell you too much about myself before I really get to know you. That wouldn't be smart on my hand. Once, and that's assuming you get the job, you would be hired, and I feel comfortable with you, then I might tell you a little bit more about myself. But until then, you are but a stranger, and I'm not going to do that, so. But a long time. I've seen a lot, learned a lot, and, well, I'm good at reading people. And I must say, upon initial meeting you seem like the type of person that I would be able to trust. You seem like the type of person who would make, dare I say, an exceptional familiar. But again, I don't know you that well. But I get a good feeling about you. So now, for my own safety and really your own safety, I'm not going to offer you the job right now. I have some thinking to do. And you're not the only one I've interviewed for this position. There's been a lot of mixed reactions to me telling them about what I really truly am. And, well, I need to be careful and pick the right person because I have made mistakes in the past that have led to some unfortunate things. So, but for your own safety and my safety, you will not remember anything from this interview. Not until I reach out to you. And at that point, your memories will be restored and you will remember this interview. But if I decide to pick someone else and I don't reach out to you, then you won't remember. That's how it needs to be. Again, for your safety and mine. I'm not all bad. I might be a vampire, and I know that your kind would think that I'm evil for what I do, for what I consume, but I am just another species on this planet, and we are all out here trying to survive, are we not? So, it has to be. And it's in your own interest, best interest, to allow me to hypnotize you and make you forget. Because if you try to leave without allowing me to do so, then you won't be my familiar, but my dinner. So, the choice is yours. Good. What I have here is a necklace. One that I've also had a very long time. And if I choose you, and you do become my familiar, you will become well acquainted with this. But tonight, all I want you to do is follow the necklace with your eyes and just relax.